Hi, y'all. It's Dr. Floyd. I just wanted to give you a few pointers on week 2 work, talk about APA formatting a little bit more. But first, good job to everybody who finished up week 1. I've graded your discussion boards and your diagnostic essay turned into Grammarly reflection. Good job on those things. I was glad to see the majority of you, really everybody pretty much said that they thought Grammarly was helpful and they might use it again. So don't forget about it. You won't be required to use it, but you've got it now. You have a login and all, so take advantage. Okay, for week 2, we're going to do a little more work in the textbook this week, so we want to make sure that you remember how to find that. And we're going to do work getting toward that final persuasive essay. You're already commenting in this discussion what you think you want your topic to be. Keep in mind to try to talk about that in terms of a arguable statement. What will you be asking the audience to believe? And try to do that when you're actually formulating the thesis statement without saying I or me or I believe or in my experience. It's not the kind of academic tone or voice that we're looking for here. So just say it directly without the I and me involved. And talk to each other, give each other ideas in that discussion board. That should be useful this week. Okay, but you have several things going on for Sunday, so you want to pace these out a little bit. There's some resources in here on how to outline. So if you create an outline for this paper that starts with your thesis statement and then has actual sentences that are the different things you think you have to prove in order to successfully pull off that thesis statement, that'll be very useful to you in just a few weeks when you're writing. And that's going to change a lot because you probably haven't, done much research or thought about how you're going to flesh it out in ways that'll come over the next few weeks. But, it's a starter outline and I can give some feedback on it once you have it down. Now, these McGraw-Hill Connect exercises, there's actually quite a few of them, so don't wait to the last minute to try to get into this. These are things that maybe because of your Grammarly report, you'll particularly appreciate having the little lessons on. There's some punctuation in here. But this is graded based just on completion, and you have as many attempts as you need to get these right. So a quick look in here. All right. Okay. Go to McGraw-Hill Connect. Okay, and you're going to hit not the book like you think you might, but this connect button down here. Switch to student view for you. Here we go. And then the assignment, I clicked past the assignment, but it tells you to do part 1, writing matters, part 8, grammar matters, and then part 10, detail matters. Now, under each of these, there's different sets of things to do. So that's why I mean it might take you just a little bit to get through them. So part 1 has all these different activities, or really just question sets. So, and don't worry about these dates. They always stay wrong, pretty much. You've got to do them by Sunday at midnight. Okay, so when you click in here and you begin, it'll give you, you're going to tell you you're going to have 5 questions. You have unlimited attempts. And this is about a writer's responsibility to their audience. You read the question, click on your answer, can score it right there immediately for you, let you know if you got it right, and move on to and then it'll give you the next one to move on to. When you get through all of those, then remember this is part 1 of 5. Then if you go on, you'll have the next one and the next one and the next one. So there's just several to get through. While we're in here, if you are looking for the book, because you realize you need to read those chapters a little better. You're not getting the questions right. Remember, once you're in over here, now you click on the book, and that gets you into that. Okay. While we're here, I want to show you chapter 19. It opened there because I was there a little bit earlier. This is one of the assigned chapters that you're supposed to read for this week. It's not one that you're doing exercises on, but it's how to format a paper in APA style. 19 is all about that, how to do the citations, how to cite in text. And for these assignments due on Friday, you don't really have a lot of citing like that to do, but I want those of you who haven't been trying last week to try to set the paper up basically in APA style, and this will help you with that. Margins, 1 inch, 12-point font. Usually use something pretty boring and normal like Times or Arial. Not on these little homework exercises, but on a real paper, you want to abstract on page 2. It's just the summary of what the paper's going to do. Just talking to you about your reference list at the end, and it's called references, not works cited. And then here's an example of a cover page. So APA is really into the cover page. The title, your name, the class, my name, the date. You all don't need this author note for the kinds of papers you're writing in this class. You do need a page number in the upper right. And those of you familiar with APA may recognize there's no running head here. The newest edition of APA does not have a running head. It's made that only a requirement for professional work, not student work. You may still run into a professor who wants you to use a running head, maybe particularly psychology areas, but that's a great relief to many people because it was often a real pain to try to get the running head right and to stay right from page to page. So that's not a requirement anymore if you're used to it. But the cover page is. Yeah, and then making sure you've got those margins right. If you have headings in your paper, which I know at least one of you did for the Grammarly reflection, you broke it down in areas you want to make sure that they are centered and bold, like this, results, discussion, and then here's a reference page. If you are, like I said, that's not an issue quite yet. We will talk about how to reference the textbook because some of you did that in your discussion last week. Okay, so that's one place to find information on APA. There are plenty of other places. Oops, I think I just deleted our class. Hang on for a second. It's back in here. There we are. Yeah, so in this week, as it's telling you the things to explore, you'll see the topic suggestion for argumentative papers. This is really important. Please spend a little time in here. For one thing, it kind of tells you some topics not to pick. That no English teacher ever wants to read another capital punishment, abortion, let's make marijuana legal paper again in her whole life. Trust me, we've read billions of them. So it's given you some better kinds of suggestions, some things to avoid. So that's worth taking a look at. This is just the assignment again to remind you of it. Here's an APA guide and an outline guide. Academic Writer has those things as well. The Purdue OWL has some sample outlines. So all just good resources to be able to do the things you're being asked to do this week. And like we were a little earlier, here they are. So here's that outline. Here's the connect work that we were just into. And then finally a reflection that's pulling everything together. So pace yourself. These two documents, the persuasive essay proposal and outline and the journal, that's where I want to see you trying to format the document APA style. So, take the time to do that with the cover page and all. One other thing, I'm going to show you Word here. If you start a new document in Word, a blank document, the option, you can't quite see it in here because it's above where the screen is showing you, but you can look for a template, if you just put APA in when you're looking for a template, it's searching, here's a classic, here's an APA style paper, APA style report, 6th edition. So when Word comes out with a new edition, it's probably going to have these updates for APA that involve the lack of a running head. For now, it still has the running head in there. But the good thing about these templates is you can know that you're doing it right just by kind of typing on top of what they have. So you want to add your title here. So you're doing something like that, and you can just type right over top of everything. It's right because it's doing it for you. Now, and something you don't want, like this author note, you can just delete it out. Okay, and that was on the next page, the abstract. So it has the abstract there on page 2 for you. It eventually starts the paper here, tells you to add the title. And this would be your full title. If you are going to play with using a running head, it lets you type it in there. And points out here that if you're going to have headings, which you don't need to do on a short paper, it's more of a long paper thing, but if you're going to use headings, make sure they're centered and in bold. And then if you break the material under that heading down into further categories, then you use other types of headings, but that would just not be necessary in papers this short. So I just wanted to show you that this template exists in Word, even shows you how to do the reference page. You have to be careful to delete all the things you're not using if you use the Word template, because you guys probably are not going to have any notes, you're not going to have tables and things like that. Okay, so I think that's the gist of what I've got this week. With the APA formatting, you're never going to have all that stuff memorized, probably, unless you do professional writing. But even though you may not have it all memorized, knowing where to go to look something up is what's important. So that's why we give you all of these things to explore. Okay, that seems to be the good week in an overview. And if you have any questions, be emailing, letting me know. I'm really looking forward to, I've already seen a couple topics come in on the discussion board. So I'm anxious to see what you all are picking to talk about and what I'll be reading about for the next few weeks. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.